sure that the British Championship is the most difficult to win, and it's the most competitive championship, and that makes it really special.
You know, I've had podium finishes. It was easier at the start of the season. It's got harder and harder, but I still think it's been really good.
Nothing beats winning, definitely. It's good to be there, good to be at the front, and to get up there on the pit wall and see the car winning races or finishing in top 3 or 4.
Well, looking back through Audi's past history in motor racing, I knew that would be a complete 100% effort. So I was pretty confident that the car would be competitive from the word go, which makes our life at Audi Sport UK really easy.
A triumphant end to something which British race fans had to wait for 15 years. The return to Britain of the 4 rings.
When I did get the drive, obviously I was very, very happy, because to me they are the team. For me it was like a dream come true, really.
Christmas 1995, and with the plum pudding comes a plum job for John Bintcliffe, an Audi team drive. But as he sweats off the effects of the Christmas cheer, others are sweating over one of motorsport's biggest gambles. The surprise isn't so much that Audi are returning to the British Touring Car Championship after an absence of 15 years, but that they're doing so with a rookie driver.
Well, I've always wanted to do touring cars, so I've never been interested in single-seaters. So for me, I thought the best route for me to go was try and do like a Steve Soper, Patrick Watts type of thing, and come through saloon cars, one-make racing all the time. So that's what I set about to do, and really make a name for myself in that. And I think by winning 2 championships, and they were the only 2 one-make championships within TOCA for saloon cars, you know, and with winning both of them, it helped get a bit of a name for myself, and that's really why I chose that route.
He's done very well in the junior formulae, the other one-make formulae, and his motivation is fantastic. So I believe that we'll find a new star.
I'm thrilled with the decision, and I'm glad everybody else is. I think John possesses all the right attributes, and I think it's important in this type of racing to give a chance to young talent. I mean, actually John isn't that young, as he's probably explained, but he is new to the series. He's got a lot to offer, and I'm thrilled to be able to give him the chance.
But when Audi's British team is launched, still with the 95 car, Bintcliffe hasn't even sat in the A4 Quattro, let alone driven it. Bintcliffe isn't the only gamble. So too is the choice of John Wickham to run the show. For all his experience with the footwork team in Formula One, this is his first real foray into touring cars.
The thing about setting a team up is it's very much the same, whatever discipline you're in. You have to get good people, you have to make sure they work together well, you have to get a good balance of people, engineers, mechanics, hospitality, everything else. And I think over the years I've probably done a few of those reasonably successfully. So yes, there was a risk in that I hadn't actually raced on these in a series on these shores for 20 years, but in the end it's all the same.
The driver heading Audi's return to Britain is Frank Biela, past winner of the German and French championships and World Cup champion of '95.
I know Brands Hatch, small and the big circuit. I know Donington, but all the others are more or less new to me. I went to Snetterton once for a tyre test, but it's going to be quite difficult. But this is one of the points why it's very interesting for me. Normally in France I had no problem to get used to the new circuits, so I hope it works well in England.
Biela and Bintcliffe will be racing the only four-wheel drive cars in the British Championship. Surely a significant advantage?
The whole package has to fit well on the circuit, so we will have definitely some races where we are, I hope, quite good, and we will have some races where we are, if we are unlucky, not competitive. But normally in the last 5 years I always had a competitive car, and I always had a well-prepared car for the races. So I'm quite optimistic.
And that optimism is well-founded, because 3 months later, Biela will dominate the season's opening at Donington. In January, Audi haven't yet assembled their full British team, but at least the car is well proven after successful campaigns on the continent.
Well, it's obviously been pretty good in Germany. The car's been very competitive in Germany, very competitive in Italy. It works very well in the wet weather conditions, which we obviously see quite a bit of in the UK. So with tighter circuits, the wet weather, I think we'll do pretty well.
Although it sounds a little bizarre, I think Frank will win the championship this year. I really do. And John, I think, will be also up in the points at the end of the year.
Obviously, I'd love to win races. I mean, that would be everyone's target. I don't believe you should start a race unless you really want to do that. But I know it's going to be tough. New car, different formula for me. I think we'll just have to wait and see.
And for the man most chomping at the bit to get into a car, there's a lot more waiting in store. As Bintcliffe finds out when he meets up with all the other team drivers, pre-season training Audi style involves just about everything except driving.
When you're out in the country or whatever, you're out and you're thinking about other stuff and you forget a bit, you lose yourself in your mind about where you are and how far you've gone. Whereas in here, with it being a permanent hill, it's like running uphill for 28 minutes, you know, so it's quite hard. It is orientated to keep fit, obviously, because the whole team need to be fit to drive cars in the level that we're going to do. But at the same time, it's about motivation and team building, and the Audi thing, we are really a team as well as, you know, professional drivers.
We always did this fitness training up here, and we do it for 2 weeks, which is quite effective. And normally I never had a problem during the season, and I think it's one reason for this is that we are coming here at the beginning of the season and everybody does the exercises together, and so our physical conditions are quite good when we start the season.
And Biela and Bintcliffe know they'll be up against tough opposition in the British Series, including the BMW of Smoking Joe Winkelhock, the 1995 champion John Cleland, with Vauxhall racing the new Vectra in place of the Cavalier. Alain Menu in the Renault Laguna. Alain's finished runner-up in the championship for the previous 2 seasons. And Ricard Rydell driving the Volvo 850. But for now, the Audi team are concentrating on developing fitness and friendships.
I met him once in Birmingham, and my first impression was that he's a very, very nice guy. And now we stayed together for a few days, and everything is okay. And I think we can come along quite well during the season, and I hope that we can do a good work and a good job in England.
He seems a nice guy, you know, you talk to him, and if I didn't know he was Frank Bieler, if you like, world champion, you know, you just think he's a normal run-of-the-day guy, which is it's nice to find, really, because some of them get into this superstar sort of mentality, which makes them a bit hard to approach at times.
As the Huskies race in St. Moritz, the motorsport drivers know it's nearing the time for them to take centre stage. While the team bonds together in Switzerland, the cars are being built at Audi's German headquarters in Ingolstadt.
They're going to win races, yeah. I'm convinced of it. I visit Ingolstadt very regularly. I'm there once a month probably. And I've begun to realise the depth of input they have into this type of motor racing. They, after all, one of the founders of super touring car racing. And I think their sheer effort of their technical input is really amazing. And I think that will show through this year.
When the cars arrive in the United Kingdom, they'll be run by combined teams of British and German mechanics.
Everyone started from the same point. A couple of us worked together before with each other, and because everyone started from the word go, it's all gelled together quite nicely, and everyone's got used to each other at the same sort of speed, and the workshops come along, and the truckie, the engineers and everything, and it's all turned out pretty good.
As the season progresses, some friendly internal competition will emerge, but not so much between the British and German workers as the separate backup teams to Bieler and Bintcliffe. Bintcliffe's debut in an unfamiliar car will leave his mechanics with less time off.
There's friendly rivalry. Unfortunately for us, John tends to wreck his car a little bit more than Frank does, so we have sometimes a little bit more repair work to do. So the prep time's a tad longer on our car than it is on Frank's. But yeah, for sure, if we're both doing gear ratios at the same time, you're always looking over to the other car, see if you can get your box out first. Whether it's in a hurry or not, you still try and compete.
Dave Ward joined the Audi team with glowing references from his former colleagues at Peugeot.
Are you on John's car? Yeah, it's on John's car. We really wanted it on Frank's car. We want to slow that down as well. But it's funny, since he left, we had no wheels fall off the cars at all. Like, coincidence or not, I don't know. But no, he was excellent, and it's really sad to see him go.
But before all this pit lane banter comes the serious development work in Bavaria for Audi's return to Britain.
We know that the championship is one of the most competitive ones, and there was quite some question and demands from our British importers to give motorsport supporting the marketing activities.
The winter work is all designed to produce this kind of start. It aims to guarantee a car which will outperform everyone else, whatever the weather. And the whole package should give the drivers total confidence for when the pressure is on. But first, the drivers from Switzerland and the cars from Germany have to meet up for testing in Italy.